Welcome to Cindy's Library, and today I am very excited to talk about my reading plans for July, including Jane Austen July. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, we have our group read, which is also one of Jane Austen's 6 main novels. So this year, Northanger Abbey has been chosen. Can't say it's Jane Austen's best work, but even when it's not her best, it is still amazing. And the nice thing about this is it's her earliest published work. Well, yeah, I guess we can say it's her earliest published novel, though sadly it was not published during her lifetime. But there's a youthfulness and freshness to this which I adore, and it tackles some themes that I also love. So if you aren't familiar with Northanger Abbey, it features our heroine, Catherine, who's lived in the country at her father's parsonage all her life, and some family friends nearby invite her to go to Bath, the big city, and there she makes friends, she learns about life, she discovers things about herself, including more of what she is herself is looking for in a guy. So it'll be a good time rereading this. Looking forward to it. Now, the second challenge is to read something by Jane Austen that is not her first 6 novels. So, this year, one of the challenges is also reading from her Juvenilia, which will go perfectly with Northanger Abbey. They are not suggesting that we read every single thing in here, but I have marked into the table of contents the ones they are suggesting that we read, which is a number of items here. This also includes Lady Susan, the Watson, and Sanditon. So, be reading out of this year for the second challenge. And, well, Jane Austen sadly never completed Sanditon. 2 more modern authors did complete that work. Rose Servitsova, and completed by another lady. And don't know if I will get to these, but if I like Sanditon enough, maybe I will try at least one of these. So we shall see. Okay, the third challenge is non-fiction about Jane Austen. So I have been working on this for several Jane Austen Julys previous, and I've made some pretty good progress, but I still have a ways to go. So we will do this and see how much further we can get into it. And I also have Lord David Cecil's thoughts on Jane Austen, and he is an inkling, so I'm especially interested to see his thoughts on the marvelous Jane Austen. So the next one is a contemporary novel in that it was written after Jane Austen, but it's either by Jane Austen or about Jane Austen or her characters, Regency era. So I have yet to read Godmersham Park. I forget the author, but it's the same author as Miss Austen, which I absolutely loved. So I think this Jane Austen July, that would be a good one to do for the contemporary work. The 5th reading challenge is to read something by a contemporary of Jane Austen. So I'm going to try The Lady of the Lake by Sir Walter Scott. Sir Walter Scott was not just a novelist, he was also a poet. And so we shall see about getting through this. I am looking forward to it. Now, Jane Austen July does not mean that Jane Austen will be all that I am going to be reading this year for July. I have at least 2 things to get started on. At Signum, or I should say at Mistgard Academy, put on by Signum University, we are finishing up the 11th volume of the History of Middle-earth. Yes, we really have done every single volume of the History of Middle-earth, but the rule is we always have to do something non-Tolkien between Tolkien items. And the people have spoken. We're doing Till We Have Faces by C.S. Lewis. I'm very excited to revisit this one. So no doubt I will be getting started with this in July. And for the Literary Life podcast, we are starting Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson in July. So I'll probably get at least a bit into there as well. Also, is it Christie from Dostoevsky in Space who wants to start on Bleak House in July? Now this I'm definitely not finishing in July, but we'll see if I can't at least get started. And in between all of that, I will probably throw something like Elantris or Secret Project 3 is supposed to be shipped out in July for Brandon Sanderson. So one way or the other, I should get a bit of Brandon Sanderson. And this time it actually should arrive in July, the Secret Project. He said they're already in the warehouse back in June. So I am not anticipating any delays this time, which will be a wonderful thing. I might pick up one of these books here that I have on my pile of possibilities to go through. Might do volume 3 of Ascendance of a Bookworm. We shall see. I have a family reunion the last full week of July, so that'll get pretty busy then. Have to make sure I get as much done with Jane Austen as I can before then. Possibly a few odds and ends to finish up, and we'll see where we're at that point. So, looking forward to July. Jane Austen July is always a good time with an excuse to read some Jane Austen. So, I forgot the 6th and the 7th challenges for Jane Austen July because they are not reading challenges. They are watching challenges. Specifically, challenge number 6 is watching a Jane Austen adaptation, direct adaptation. And I've actually already done this. I watched the 1995 Sense and Sensibility with my mother, which was wonderful as always. Love Emma Thompson. Love Alan Rickman. I just love everyone in that, and it's amazing how she managed to condense things and yet keep entirely the spirit of the book, if not perhaps including every single detail in there. But that's okay. So, those are my plans for July. Love to hear about your plans for July and if you are also going to be participating in Jane Austen July. And if not, what are you going to do? Love to hear about it. Thank you so much for stopping by. Truly do appreciate it. So until next time, I hope we all stay safe and healthy. And as always, happy reading.